How to survive when the world turns against you. There comes a time in every person's life when the world does not merely disagree with them. It turns against them. At first, it is quiet. A delayed response. A cold expression. A conversation that stops when you enter the room. Then the signs become clearer. People who once praised you begin to question you. People who once stood beside you begin to distance themselves. People who once borrowed your strength now pretend they never needed you. And then one day, you realize something uncomfortable. You are no longer being judged by your actions. You are being judged by the story others have created about you. This is the moment when most people make their first mistake. They panic. They speak too much. They explain themselves to people who have already decided not to understand them. They expose their emotions. They reveal their fear. They run toward approval from those who are quietly enjoying the discomfort. But if you wish to survive when the world turns against you, you must understand this first principle. The world does not always reward innocence. It often rewards control. It does not always protect the honest. It often follows the confident. It does not always listen to the person who is right. It listens to the person who appears steady when everyone else is unstable. I speak now not to comfort you. Comfort is useful for children. Strategy is useful for those who intend to survive. When opposition rises against you, you must not ask, "Why are they doing this to me?" That question weakens you. Instead, ask, "What is happening beneath the surface? Who benefits from my failure? Who is watching silently? Who is waiting to see whether I collapse? Who is loyal only when I am useful? Who is pretending to be neutral while helping my opposition?" These are the questions of survival. And survival begins when emotion becomes observation. When pain becomes information. When betrayal becomes instruction. When isolation becomes discipline. The person who survives public pressure is not always the strongest. Not always the most talented. Not always the most loved. It is often the person who learns to remain composed while others reveal themselves. So listen carefully. If the world turns against you, do not rush to prove your worth. Do not beg for understanding. Do not waste your strength trying to change the minds of people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Instead, become difficult to read, difficult to predict, difficult to provoke, difficult to defeat. Because when a person can no longer be controlled by praise, fear, shame, or rejection, that person becomes dangerous in the most disciplined way. Not loud, not reckless, not cruel, simply controlled. And control is the foundation of power. 1. Never panic in public. When pressure comes, your first enemy is not the person attacking you. Your first enemy is your own reaction. Most people lose before the conflict has truly begun because they show the world exactly where they are wounded. Their voice shakes. Their eyes search for approval. Their anger rises too quickly. Their explanations become desperate. The decisions become emotional. And in that moment, the crowd understands something very important. They can affect you. They can move you. They can disturb your center. That is when they press harder. Understand this clearly. People do not always attack because they are strong. Many attack because they have noticed weakness. And weakness is not always real. Sometimes it is only visible emotion. If you appear unsettled, people will assume you are vulnerable. If you appear desperate, people will assume you are losing. If you appear angry, people will assume they have power over you. So when the world turns against you, the first duty is simple. Control your face. Control your tone. Control your timing. Control your silence. This does not mean you feel nothing. A wise person feels deeply. But a wise person does not allow every feeling to become public information. There is a difference between emotion and exposure. Emotion is human. Exposure is strategic risk. When your enemies cannot read your fear, they begin to question their own strength. When they cannot provoke you, they begin to lose confidence. When they cannot predict your response, they begin to hesitate. And hesitation is the first crack in opposition. You must learn to carry yourself as though you have already survived the moment. Even before you have. Walk calmly. Speak slowly. Do not rush your words. Do not answer accusations immediately. Do not respond to pressure with pressure. A person who answers too quickly often appears controlled by the question. Pause. Let silence do some of the work. Silence unsettles those who expected panic. Silence makes shallow people uncomfortable. Silence allows you to observe who is nervous, who is confident, who is pretending, and who is waiting for your mistake. In public, composure is armor. It does not solve every problem, but it prevents others from seeing how much damage they have caused. And sometimes, that alone is enough to keep you standing. Many people confuse honesty with emotional display. They believe that because they are hurt, everyone must see the hurt. But the world is not always gentle with exposed pain. Some will comfort you, others will study it. Some will protect you, others will use it. Therefore, choose carefully what you reveal. When the world turns against you, every visible reaction becomes part of the story. If you appear broken, they will say you are unstable. If you appear angry, they will say you are dangerous. If you appear desperate, they will say you are guilty. But if you appear calm, they are forced to wonder, why is this person not afraid? What does this person know? What remains hidden? That uncertainty protects you, not completely, but enough. And in difficult times, enough can become survival. So remember this: your composure is not a performance. It is a shield. Your calmness is not weakness. It is restraint. Your silence is not emptiness. It is control. And control is the first language of power. 2. Stop explaining yourself to everyone. When people turn against you, the desire to explain yourself becomes almost unbearable. You want to correct every false statement, answer every accusation, clear every misunderstanding, defend every intention. You believe that if they only heard the full story, they would understand. But this is where many people deceive themselves. Not everyone wants the full story. Some want a version that benefits them. Some want drama. Some want confirmation of what they already believe. Some want to see you struggling to be believed. And some have already chosen their position before you ever opened your mouth. To explain yourself to such people is not communication. It is surrender. You are giving them access to your mind. You are handing them your reasoning, your emotions, your weak points, your fears, and your need for approval. They will not always use your words to understand you. They may use them to refine their attack. A person under pressure must learn the discipline of limited speech. Say what is necessary. Say it clearly. Then stop. Do not decorate your truth with desperation. Do not chase people from room to room trying to prove you are not what they think. A person who is constantly defending himself begins to look like a person who has already lost authority over his own image. There is power in measured communication. There is power in refusing to over-explain. There is power in allowing your actions to build the answer slowly. You must understand something about human nature. People often trust consistency more than explanation. If your words say one thing, but your conduct over time says another, they will eventually notice. But if you speak too much, your enemies will search your sentences for weakness. One careless phrase, one emotional exaggeration, one contradiction caused by pressure, one moment of frustration, that is all they need. So guard your words. Words are not free. Every word creates risk. Every public statement creates interpretation. Every explanation invites analysis. When the environment is hostile, speak like a strategist, not like a person begging to be liked. You may clarify your position, but do not perform your innocence for people who enjoy your discomfort. You may answer serious concerns, but do not become a servant to gossip. You may defend your name, but do not sacrifice your dignity to people who have no intention of being fair. The more hostile the world becomes, the more disciplined your language must become. Do not say more because you are afraid. Say less because you are aware. This does not mean you become arrogant. It means you become selective. You owe truth to those who are sincere. You owe clarity to those who are fair. You owe accountability where it is deserved. But you do not owe emotional access to every person with an opinion. A crowd can ask questions endlessly, but not every question deserves an answer. Some questions are traps. Some concerns are performances. Some invitations to explain yourself are only attempts to pull you into weakness. Learn the difference. The person who survives does not respond to every noise. He studies the source. He asks, who is speaking? Why now? What do they want? What happens if I answer? What happens if I remain silent? This is not cowardice. It is judgment. A person who answers everything becomes controlled by everything. A person who chooses when to answer begins to regain power. So when the world turns against you, reduce unnecessary speech. Let your silence remove fuel from the conflict. Let your consistency challenge false narratives. Let your patience expose those who are acting in bad faith. And when you speak, speak with precision. Not emotion, not panic, not performance. Precision. Because in moments of opposition, careless words can become weapons in another person's hands. 3. Identify who benefits from your fall. When many voices rise against you, it can feel as though the entire world has become your enemy. But this is rarely true. Most people are not your enemies. They are spectators. Some are confused. Some are afraid. Some are following the strongest voice in the room. Some are protecting themselves. Some simply enjoy being close to conflict because it makes their own lives feel less empty. Do not waste your energy treating every participant as equal. That is a mistake. The wise person studies interest. Who gains if you fail? Who becomes more powerful if your reputation weakens? Who receives sympathy if you are blamed? Who gets your position, your influence, your opportunity, your relationships, your peace? Behind most opposition, there is interest. Sometimes the interest is obvious. A rival wants your place. A colleague wants your position. A relative wants control. A friend wants moral superiority. A partner wants leverage. But sometimes the interest is hidden. Someone may not gain money from your fall, but they may gain attention. They may gain influence. They may gain the pleasure of feeling superior. They may gain the relief of seeing someone they envied brought lower. Human motives are rarely pure. A person can smile at you and still be comforted by your difficulty. A person can say they are concerned while quietly spreading doubt. A person can pretend to be neutral while shaping the opinion of others. This is why you must not react only to what people say. Watch what they do. Watch who repeats information. Watch who appears only when there is controversy. Watch who asks questions, not to help, but to collect details. Watch who remains silent when truth would cost them nothing. Watch who becomes warmer when you are weak and colder when you recover. Pressure reveals people, not immediately, but eventually. When the world turns against you, do not only defend yourself. Investigate the structure of the opposition. Not loudly, not emotionally, quietly. Who started the first doubt? Who repeated it? Who benefited from it? Who pretended surprise while already knowing the details? Who is always near the center of confusion? Who loses power if you remain strong? These questions reveal the map. And once you see the map, you stop fighting shadows. You stop wasting energy on those who merely followed the crowd. You identify the true source. This matters because survival requires focus. If you fight everyone, you exhaust yourself. If you answer every critic, you become distracted. If you try to win every person back, you lose time and dignity. Instead, separate people into categories. There are true opponents. There are passive followers. There are uncertain observers. There are silent allies. There are opportunists. Each category requires a different response. A true opponent must be studied. A passive follower may be ignored. An uncertain observer may be influenced by consistency. A silent ally may need reassurance. An opportunist must be denied access. This is strategy. Do not call every person an enemy because they doubted you. Do not trust every person because they smiled at you. Do not waste loyalty on those who are only waiting to see who wins. The person who survives opposition learns to read alignment. Not words. Alignment. Where do they stand when your name is questioned? What do they risk for truth? What do they protect when pressure rises? Who becomes brave only after the danger passes? These observations are more valuable than declarations of loyalty. Many people say, I am with you. Few prove it when being with you has a cost. When the world turns against you, It gives you a painful gift. It shows you the real structure of your relationships. Accept the lesson. Do not mourn every loss. Some losses are revelations. Some betrayals are corrections. Some departures are protection disguised as pain. And some people leaving your life is not abandonment. It is the removal of weakness from your inner circle. So study who benefits. Study who disappears. Study who watches. Study who returns when the danger has passed. And remember, the crowd is not always the enemy. Often, the enemy is the person directing the crowd from behind the curtain. Find that person. Understand their motive. Then respond with discipline. 4. Become less predictable. A predictable person is easy to manage. Easy to provoke. Easy to trap. Easy to defeat. If your opponents know what will anger you, they will use it. If they know what you fear, they will press it. If they know how you explain yourself, they will prepare answers before you speak. If they know your routine, they will wait for you at the same emotional doorway again and again. Predictability gives others access, and access gives them influence. When the world turns against you, you must change your rhythm. Not to become dishonest, not to become chaotic, but to become difficult to control. Do not react the way they expect. Do not answer at the moment they demand. Do not reveal your full intention before you act. Do not make your emotional pattern available to everyone. People who wish to influence you first study you. They study your pride, your guilt, your need to be liked, your fear of rejection, your anger, your loneliness. Then they choose the right pressure point. This is why self-knowledge is protection. If you know what provokes you, you can guard it. If you know what weakens you, you can strengthen it. If you know what you crave from others, you can stop being controlled by it. A person who desperately needs approval is predictable. A person who always defends his reputation is predictable. A person who cannot tolerate being misunderstood is predictable. A person who responds instantly to disrespect is predictable. And predictable people are easily led into mistakes. To become less predictable, you must first become less dependent. Less dependent on applause. Less dependent on validation. Less dependent on being seen as good by people who have not earned the right to judge you. This does not mean you stop caring about your name. Reputation matters. But reputation must be managed with patience, not panic. Sometimes the best response is immediate. Sometimes the best response is delayed. Sometimes the best response is private. Sometimes the best response is no response. The wise person chooses. The reactive person obeys pressure. Change your timing. Change your access. Change what you share. Change how quickly you respond. Change who knows your plans. Change the emotional reward people receive from provoking you. If someone insults you and expects anger, give them calm distance. If someone pressures you for an answer, give them measured silence. If someone spreads confusion, answer with consistent conduct over time. If someone tries to pull you into public drama, refuse the stage. This frustrates those who depend on your reaction. They want the old version of you. The version that explains too much. The version that becomes visibly hurt. The version that tries to repair everything immediately. The version that can be guided by guilt. Do not give them that version. Not anymore. Become composed. Become deliberate. Become difficult to rush. In conflict, speed can be dangerous. Many people move quickly because they are afraid. But fear rarely produces wisdom. Before you respond, ask, what outcome do I want? What outcome do they want? Will this response move me closer to strength or deeper into the design? Am I acting from strategy or emotion? This pause can save you. The pause is where power returns. A predictable person reacts. A disciplined person chooses. And when you choose, others must adjust to you. This is the beginning of regained control. 5. Build quiet alliances. No one survives serious opposition alone. Even the strongest person needs witnesses, support, perspective, information, stability. But alliances must be chosen carefully. When the world turns against you, many people will approach you. Some will come with sympathy, some with curiosity, some with advice, some with hidden motives. Do not mistake attention for loyalty. Do not mistake agreement for commitment. Do not mistake kindness during crisis for lasting support. A true ally is not the person who speaks the loudest in your favor. It is the person who remains reliable when supporting you has a cost. Quiet alliances are often more valuable than public declarations. A public supporter may help your image, but a quiet ally may help your survival. They may tell you what is being said when you are absent. They may warn you before a decision is made. They may correct your thinking when emotion clouds your judgment. They may remind you of who you are when opposition tries to define you. Choose such people wisely. Do not build alliances only with those who flatter you. Flattery is pleasant, but it is not protection. A useful ally tells you the truth, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Especially then, you need people who can say, "You are reacting too quickly. You are trusting the wrong person. You are speaking too much. You are ignoring danger. You are becoming what they accuse you of being." Such people are rare. Protect them, but never build your entire survival on another person. An alliance should strengthen your judgment, not replace it. You must remain responsible for your own direction. Machiavellian wisdom does not say, "Trust no one." That is not wisdom. That is fear pretending to be intelligence. The lesson is more precise. Trust selectively. Test quietly. Observe consistently. Give people access gradually. Let time reveal them. A person can pretend for a day, for a week, even for a season. But over time, patterns emerge. Who keeps confidence? Who becomes careless with information? Who supports you only in private but abandons you in public? Who uses your vulnerability to become important? Who helps without making you feel owned? These things matter. When the world turns against you, information becomes valuable. But do not share all information with all allies. Different people should know different levels of detail. This is not manipulation. It is protection. The more people know, the more fragile your position becomes. Even loyal people can be careless. Even good people can speak at the wrong time. Even sympathetic people can repeat details because they underestimate the consequences. So be disciplined. Do not confuse emotional relief with strategy. Sometimes you want to tell someone everything because you are tired of carrying it alone. But not every person who listens is safe. Choose carefully where your full truth rests. Also understand this. An alliance is not only emotional. It can be practical. A mentor, a colleague, a witness, a professional contact, a family member, a calm friend, a person with experience, a person with influence, a person who knows the system better than you do. Survival often depends on having the right person in the right place before the crisis becomes severe. Build relationships before you need them. If you wait until you are desperate, people will feel your desperation. And desperation weakens negotiation. But when you have invested in relationships with respect, patience, and value, you do not beg for help. You receive support from a foundation already built. Quiet alliances are not built overnight. They are built through reliability, through discretion, through shared interests, through respect, through small acts repeated over time. If the world turns against you and you have no allies, begin with one. One calm person, one informed person, one trustworthy person, one person who can help you see clearly. You do not need many. A large circle can be noisy. A small circle can be strong. In times of pressure, choose strength over popularity. Choose discretion over attention. Choose reliability over excitement. Because when the crowd changes its opinion, you will need people who are not controlled by the crowd. 6. Turn adversity into information. Most people suffer twice. First from the event itself. Then from the meaning they attach to it. They say, "This proves I am finished. This proves everyone hates me. This proves I cannot trust anyone. This proves I have failed." But adversity does not always prove defeat. Sometimes it reveals structure. It shows you where you were careless, where you were dependent, where you were too open, where you trusted appearance instead of pattern, where you ignored signs because comfort felt better than truth. Pain is not pleasant, but pain can be useful, if you have the discipline to study it. When the world turns against you, ask what the moment is teaching you. Not emotionally, Strategically, what did I not see? What did I avoid seeing? Which relationship was weaker than I believed? Which habit made me vulnerable? Which word, choice, or pattern gave others access to me? Where did I confuse kindness with loyalty? Where did I confuse closeness with safety? This is difficult, because the ego prefers blame. Blame is easy. Reflection is harder, but reflection gives power back to you. If everything is only someone else's fault, then you learn nothing. If you learn nothing, the same pattern returns wearing a different face. Adversity becomes valuable when it changes your judgment, not when it makes you bitter. Bitterness is not wisdom. Bitterness is pain that has not been organized. Wisdom is pain converted into principle. Let every difficult moment sharpen you. If someone betrayed you, study access. How did they get close? What did they know? What did you overlook? If someone humiliated you, study your dependence. Why did their opinion matter so much? What did you hope they would give you? If someone abandoned you, study expectation. Did they ever prove loyalty? Or did you assume it? If someone spread falsehood, study reputation. Had you built enough consistency for truth to defend you over time? Every wound contains a lesson, but only disciplined people extract it. Others simply bleed and call it experience. Do not become one of them. You must transform pressure into perception. The more you observe, the less helpless you become. The more you learn, the less random the world appears. The more patterns you see, the less easily you are deceived. This is the darker side of maturity. You stop believing every smile. You stop trusting every promise. You stop explaining every absence. You stop giving emotional access to people who have not earned it. You stop expecting fairness from those who benefit from confusion. And you begin to understand that survival is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming clear. Clarity can look cold to people who benefited from your confusion. Discipline can look distant to people who enjoyed your availability. Boundaries can look harsh to people who preferred your weakness. Let them misunderstand. Your task is not to remain convenient. Your task is to remain standing. Adversity also teaches you what cannot be taken. If they take approval from you, can you still move? If they take comfort from you, can you still think? If they take support from you, can you still stand? If they take reputation temporarily, can your conduct rebuild it? The person who discovers what remains after loss becomes difficult to control. Because fear often depends on the belief that you cannot survive without certain things. Without certain people, without certain praise, without certain positions, without certain comforts. But once you survive their removal, a new strength forms. Quietly, you become less afraid, not because the world becomes kinder, but because you learn that you can endure more than you thought. That is powerful. A person who has endured rejection without begging becomes stronger. A person who has endured misunderstanding without collapsing becomes stronger. A person who has endured isolation without losing direction becomes stronger. A person who has endured pressure without becoming reckless becomes stronger. This is how adversity becomes a weapon of the mind. Not against others. Against your former weakness. 7. Outlast the storm. Most people underestimate the power of endurance. They want immediate victory, immediate justice, immediate apology, immediate restoration, immediate respect. But life does not always move according to your emotional timetable. Sometimes, you do not win by forcing the moment. You win by surviving it. Time changes conditions. People lose interest. False stories weaken. Those who exaggerated begin to contradict themselves. Those who acted from emotion grow tired. Those who followed the crowd move on to another subject. And the person who remained steady begins to appear different. Not because they shouted, but because they endured. When the world turns against you, patience is not passive. Patience is active restraint. It is the discipline to not destroy your own position because you are uncomfortable. It is the discipline to let others reveal themselves. It is the discipline to wait until facts mature. It is the discipline to act when the action has purpose, not merely when emotion demands release. Many people create more damage while trying to escape discomfort. They send the message, make the call, post the response, confront the wrong person, expose the wrong detail, trust the wrong listener, react at the wrong time. And afterward they say, I was only defending myself. But poor defense can become self-sabotage. Endurance means you do not let the pressure decide your timing. You decide your timing. There is a season to speak, a season to wait, a season to gather information, a season to repair quietly, a season to confront, a season to walk away, a season to rebuild. The wise person knows which season he is in. Do not confuse movement with progress. Sometimes the strongest move is to remain still until the situation becomes clearer. Stillness is difficult because it feels like weakness. But stillness can be strategy. When you remain still, others keep moving. And movement reveals them. They expose their motives. They overreach. They grow careless. They reveal who is connected to whom. They show what they really wanted. They become impatient. And impatience is one of the great enemies of strategy. If your opponents are impatient and you are disciplined, you already possess an advantage. Let them rush. Let them exaggerate. Let them become inconsistent. Let them show the very character they tried to hide. Your task is to remain clean in your conduct. Not perfect. Clean. Do not become so obsessed with surviving opposition that you lose your principles entirely. A person who becomes corrupt in order to defeat corruption has not won. He has only changed sides internally. Machiavellian wisdom is not permission to become reckless. It is instruction to become intelligent. You must know how the world works without becoming the worst part of it. Endurance also requires private restoration. You cannot remain composed publicly if you are collapsing privately. So build private discipline. Sleep when you can. Eat properly. Keep your environment orderly. Reduce unnecessary noise. Do not consume every opinion about you. Do not repeatedly revisit every insult. Do not rehearse imaginary arguments all night. This drains strength. And strength is required. Protect your mind like a city under pressure. Not every thought deserves entry. Not every fear deserves attention. Not every memory deserves repetition. Some thoughts are spies. They enter quietly and weaken your gates from within. You must watch them. When your mind says, everyone is against me, answer carefully. Not everyone. When your mind says, I cannot survive this, answer with evidence. I have survived before. When your mind says, I must fix everything today, answer with discipline. Not everything is fixed by urgency. Endurance is mental order under emotional strain. The storm will not last forever. But your reaction to it can affect your life long after it passes. So do not make permanent decisions from temporary pressure. Do not destroy relationships that may require repair. Do not expose secrets you may regret exposing. Do not speak words that cannot return. Do not give your enemies the satisfaction of watching you become unstable. Stand, breathe, observe, adjust, continue. There is dignity in controlled endurance. There is power in being underestimated and still continuing. There is strength in surviving a season designed to weaken you. And one day, when the pressure has passed, people may ask how you endured. You will know. You endured because you stopped asking the world to be fair before you chose to be disciplined. 8. Protect your reputation without becoming a prisoner to it. Reputation is powerful, but it is also dangerous. A good reputation can open doors. A damaged reputation can close them. But if you become obsessed with reputation, you become easy to control. Anyone can threaten your image and make you react. Anyone can question your name and make you panic. Anyone can misunderstand you and make you chase them. This is not power, it is dependency. You must protect your reputation wisely, but you must not worship it. There is a difference. Protecting your reputation means living consistently. It means being careful with your conduct. It means correcting serious falsehoods when correction is useful. It means keeping records when necessary. It means allowing trustworthy people to know the truth. It means not giving your enemies unnecessary material. But worshipping reputation means needing everyone to approve of you. That is impossible. And anyone who needs universal approval becomes a servant to public mood. When the world turns against you, accept this truth. Some people will believe what they want. Some people will prefer the false version. Some people will not investigate because the lie is more useful. Some people will enjoy your discomfort because it gives them entertainment or superiority. Do not spend your life trying to win such people. Win back your center. Win back your discipline. Win back your direction. A reputation is rebuilt through repeated evidence, not through emotional pleading. If you are consistent long enough, the truth gains weight. Not always with everyone, but with those who matter. And those who matter are fewer than you think. You do not need the whole world. You need the right people to understand your character. You need your actions to align over time. You need your decisions to remain steady under scrutiny. There is an old mistake many people make. They think one strong explanation can repair a damaged reputation. Sometimes it can, but often, reputation is repaired by pattern. The pattern of your behavior. The pattern of your restraint. The pattern of your reliability. The pattern of your work. The pattern of your silence when others expected chaos. Patterns defeat accusations more effectively than panic does. If people say you are unstable, stability over time answers. If people say you are dishonest, consistency over time answers. If people say you are weak, endurance over time answers. If people say you are finished, rebuilding over time answers. Time is not only a test, it is also a witness. Let time testify. But while time is working, do not feed the accusation. Do not act in ways that confirm the story being told about you. If they call you angry, do not give them public anger. If they call you desperate, do not chase them. If they call you careless, become precise. If they call you unreliable, become consistent. Your enemies often hope you will become the person they described. Do not assist them. This is one of the deepest forms of self-control. To be misrepresented and still refuse to become what they say. That is strength. Quiet strength. Difficult strength. Rare strength. And it is the kind of strength that survives. 9. Master the art of selective distance. When the world turns against you, distance becomes necessary. Not dramatic distance. Not emotional punishment. Not public withdrawal designed to attract attention. Strategic distance. There are people who weaken your judgment. People who provoke old patterns. People who collect your pain and carry it elsewhere. People who pretend to help while keeping you emotionally dependent. People who only appear when your life becomes difficult. You must learn to step back. Calmly. Without announcement. Not every boundary needs a speech. Not every exit needs an explanation. Not every person deserves a final conversation. Sometimes, the most powerful sentence is the one you never say. Distance gives you perspective. When you are too close to manipulation, it feels like confusion. From a distance, it becomes obvious. When you are too close to disrespect, you may call it misunderstanding. From a distance, you see the pattern. When you are too close to betrayal, you may search for excuses. From a distance, you recognize the truth. Distance is not hatred. Distance is clarity. You can forgive someone and still remove their access. You can understand someone and still refuse to be used by them. You can wish someone well and still decide they no longer belong near your decisions. This is maturity. The world often pressures people to remain available in order to appear good. But goodness without boundaries becomes self-neglect. And self-neglect invites exploitation. If the world turns against you, do not leave the gates of your life open. Reduce access. Reduce explanation. Reduce emotional availability. Reduce unnecessary contact. Let people experience the absence of the access they misused. Some will call you cold. Let them. Often, cold is the word people use when they can no longer benefit from your warmth without responsibility. Selective distance also protects your recovery. You cannot heal in the same environment that constantly reopens the wound. You cannot think clearly around people who benefit from your confusion. You cannot regain strength while feeding those who drain it. Distance is not weakness. It is recovery space. It is the silence in which strategy returns. It is the room where your nervous system stops obeying other people's chaos. It is the place where you remember your own voice. But be careful. Do not isolate completely. Isolation can become dangerous if it turns into bitterness. The goal is not to disappear from everyone. The goal is to remove the wrong people and preserve the right ones. Distance from confusion. Move closer to clarity. Distance from performance. Move closer to truth. Distance from manipulation. Move closer to discipline. Distance from noise. Move closer to purpose. This is how you regain yourself. Not all at once, but steadily. Conclusion. So remember these lessons. When the world turns against you, do not panic in public. Your composure is your first defense. Do not explain yourself to everyone. Your words must be measured. Do not fight the entire crowd. Study who benefits from your fall. Do not remain predictable. A predictable person is easily controlled. Do not stand alone if you can build quiet alliances. But choose them with care. Do not waste adversity. Turn pain into information. Do not rush the storm. Outlast it. Do not become a prisoner of reputation. Protect your name through consistent conduct. Do not leave access open to those who misuse it. Create distance where distance is necessary. And when the moment passes, rebuild quietly. The world may turn against you. People may misunderstand you. Some may abandon you. Some may judge you unfairly. Some may enjoy your difficulty. But none of these things must control your final outcome. The final outcome belongs to the person who can remain disciplined under pressure. The person who can observe when others react. The person who can wait when others rush. The person who can learn when others only suffer. The person who can lose approval without losing direction. This is the true lesson. Survival is not noise. Survival is not pleading. Survival is not proving yourself to every passing critic. Survival is self-command. And once you command yourself, the world becomes less frightening. Not because it becomes kind, but because you become harder to break. So if the world has turned against you, stand still for a moment. Do not collapse. Do not chase. Do not explain to every ear. Do not hand your peace to those who mishandled your name. Observe. Think. Withdraw where necessary. Act where useful. Endure where required. Then rebuild. Quietly. Strategically. Patiently. Because the person who survives with discipline does not merely escape the storm. He becomes someone the storm can no longer easily control.